I chose to do my final project over Objective 3, Social, Cognitive, Intellectual, and Academic Characteristics of Students with Different Exceptionalities. The first one we'll focus on is communication disorders. The characteristics of students with communication disorders is that they are noticeably behind other students, so they take a little bit longer to learn things than a normal student. At times they use words in a different way and they kind of mix up their meaning. So they're trying to say one thing, but they use the wrong word or the wrong meaning of the word. At times they also cannot be understood. They struggle with communicating themselves, so they also struggle with making sure that people understand what they are saying or what they need. At times they substitute words while they are reading and writing, so maybe they don't know what a word means, so instead they switch it with something that they think it means, and it may not necessarily be correct. Along with this, they also act impulsively, so they just do things out of impulse, don't really think about the consequences that they could have. The next one is emotional and behavioral disorders. Students with this disorder, they are hyperactive, so they never stop moving, never stop doing things, always have to be doing things. They also struggle with some aggression. They get aggressive when they don't understand that their needs aren't being met, and some similar things to that. They also withdraw themselves from certain learning situations. They think they need to be left alone because people don't understand them. And also along with this, they have learning difficulties. They really struggle if they don't understand something. They really get emotional about it, and they don't get why they cannot understand what is being taught in the classroom. The next one is ADHD. Students with ADHD are inattentive, so they really just can't focus on anything. They're also hyperactive as well and impulsive, so they just kind of do things out of impulse, don't really think about what will happen. They also suffer with anxiety and depression, so they understand that they are different and it really upsets them because they are not like their classmates. They also need a quiet environment to learn because with ADHD, they are constantly moving, constantly thinking, and if things distract them, it takes away from their learning. The next one is autism. And with autism, students have a difficulty responding with their environment. They don't understand some of the things that's going on, so they have a difficulty responding to what's happening. They also struggle with understanding nonverbal cues like eye rolls, and when people get frustrated, maybe they pause a little bit. They don't understand those as well as a person who did not have autism does. They also have delayed language development, and it's not saying that their language will never be like a normal person. It just takes them a little more time to gain that language knowledge and everything like that. They also struggle expressing their thoughts. They understand what they want to say in their head, but they don't necessarily understand how to get it out and how to portray it to the people around them. The next one is a traumatic brain injury. And the characteristics of this is that students have difficulty with logic, problem solving, and reasoning, because these are main aspects that happen in the brain, and if they have had a brain injury, they kind of struggle with some of these things depending on how severe their brain injury is. At times they also have inappropriate social behaviors. This could be due to the brain injury, and they just don't know how to act in certain situations. And they also have difficulty focusing their attention to certain things. So students have a difficulty sitting in a classroom and really listening to what a teacher is saying. The next one is hearing loss. Students with hearing loss have characteristics of like difficulties following verbal instructions because depending on how severe the hearing loss is, they cannot hear exactly what the teacher is saying, and sometimes they haven't learned how to read lips as well, so they really kind of struggle with this. And they also have difficulty with social and interpersonal skills. So because they cannot hear, sometimes they miss out on certain things. They can't understand some of the things that are going on. Most times these students are usually followers, not leaders. So that's just kind of a general characteristic. Not saying that not all of them are like this, but most generally they're usually followers. Along with the hearing loss, they also have a language delay. They not fail, but struggle with hearing some of the certain sounds and pronunciations of things. So they really struggle with speech and language sometimes. Next is the visual impairments. These students have difficulty with visual cues because they cannot see them, or they have a blurred vision depending on how severe their impairment is. They also require direct interaction. Because they cannot see things, there needs to be physical help for them and direct instruction. They have a short attention span because they just tend not to be able to focus on things and everything like that. And they also at times have trouble remembering what they read because most times they're hearing these or maybe using Braille or anything like that. And sometimes it just doesn't translate as well to memory as seeing it like a regular person would. And the final one is gifted students. These students have an unusual alertness, so they're always ready. They pick up on different things that maybe regular students would not. They are rapid learners. They learn things very quickly and sometimes at times get bored with the lessons that are being taught because they've already learned them or already have comprehended them. They have excellent memory, and this goes along with their learning abilities. At times they are highly sensitive because they do pick up on many extra social cues that maybe a regular student would not. They're deeply curious and have a vivid imagination because they're always striving to learn and all of that. They want to learn as much as they can, and they like to think outside of the box and everything like that.